Up next on Tapestry, we spend the day in Silver Creek, New York. Against the backdrop of Lake Erie, we'll start the day with Dawn Pratt at the Hanover Hideaway Bed Breakfast.
When you come stay, I want you to feel like you were the first guest. When you walk in here, I want you to feel like we just opened the doors.
Silver Creek is right in the middle of grape country, so we sat down with a mother and daughter team to talk about how the Willow Creek Winery brings together the best of wine and chocolate.
My uncle started it. They played around, and from what I'm told, there was like over 50 different variations of wine and chocolate before they perfected it.
Finally, we share a meal with Aunt Millie's granddaughter, Emily Cornwall, at a local staple, Aunt Millie's Diner.
It would always be like, you're hungry, where do you want to go? Let's go to Aunt Millie's. And literally, I remember being young, and my grandma constantly opening the fridge, and we're like, is it never ending in this fridge? She literally just put on a spread of food.
That's all ahead on Tapestry, right after this.
Compact Science is your gateway to the science of everything in our region. Join host Sarah Jane Gomlick-Green and investigate the geology of Niagara Falls, discover the chemistry in sponge candy, and learn how density affects lake effect snow. Watch Compact Science on the Buffalo Toronto Public Media YouTube channel.
From in-depth reporting to musical masterpieces, dramas, and mysteries to local bands, Buffalo Toronto Public Media delivers it all. Stay informed, be inspired, and join us. This is Public Media.
Welcome to Tapestry. I'm your host, Lynn Bader. We start our day in Silver Creek, headed to breakfast for a home-cooked meal prepared by our host, Dawn Pratt. She and her husband, Ray, run the Hanover Hideaway Bed and Breakfast. Talk to me about when you and your husband were first having those conversations about opening up a bed and breakfast. What was the inspiration behind that?
The inspiration actually was one I wanted out of the corporate world. I didn't feel like I was doing enough for the local community, the local people. And I wanted something smaller, something I could give back. And we lived about a mile from here, and we would take walks, and we would walk by this place. You know, we knew the previous owner. We have up by the front door, when you walk in, the original owner, we have a write-up on her. She was a fantastic woman. She was a nun, a principal in Silver Creek, traveled, wrote a couple books. But she only had like one or two rooms, and she mostly invited people that she met. She would go to Belize and help the underprivileged kids there.
Oh, wow.
So anybody she met on her travels, she pretty much invited them to come. So she didn't run it as like a advertised bed and breakfast. It was mostly people she had come across.
Boy, I bet that feels good to almost be carrying on that legacy too.
Yeah, there's a lot of people that come that say, I knew Estelle, she was wonderful.
Really?
We're so happy this place lives on.
I love that.
We met her once, talked with her. We said this would be a perfect opportunity for my mom and my dad. They're retiring, and my husband and I, all four of us, could run this. My mom loves to work with flowers and greet people. My dad loves to cook. I was the bookkeeper, and my husband was great with maintenance. I said it was a perfect opportunity. That was 2017.
Is that right? Yeah, that's right. 8 years ago.
And then my mom and dad bowed out at the last minute.
Wait, what? They did?
Yeah, they didn't want to do it all of a sudden, and we were already rolling with ideas and things like that. So my husband just continued forward, and we did it.
From the outside, it may think like this very quaint, dreamy little thing to take on. Oh, let's just open a bed and breakfast.
Yeah.
But it's really more involved than that.
Yeah, my brother's always teasing me. He's like, what, you got to clean a room and cook a little breakfast? That's it? I'm like, yeah, I wish that was just it. When you come stay, I want you to feel like you were the first guests. And I got that from years and years of going to Walt Disney World. When you walk in here, I want you to feel like we just opened the doors. I want it to feel clean and fresh for everybody.
Right.
So imagine cleaning your house, your whole house, every single day.
That leads me to another question that I just have to ask, because when I'm on vacation, I just want to chill. I want to relax. I love the service. I love being served. But for you as a B&B owner, what time does your day start?
Usually at 5 a.m., I'm up because you're getting ready, yourself ready, and then you have to start cooking. And a lot of times they have an early flight, so they need breakfast at 6, or they, going out on a fishing charter. So they need an early morning breakfast. So it starts pretty early. And it even starts before that, because it starts the day or two before, where you got to plan for who you have coming in and what you can make and meet their dietary needs.
We are in an area that gets some pretty brutal winter weather. And I've heard that there have been times where maybe you didn't have a reservation, but you had to open your door anyway.
We did have, the most recent one was this past November, December. I think it was the beginning of December.
Yeah.
Bad snowstorm hit, but we were closed. We were scheduled to go on vacation the next day. And so I had the B&B completely shut down, and the storm hit, and the storm was pretty bad. I was just in here starting to put up some Christmas decorations for guests when we came back. And we looked out, and there was a car stuck in our driveway. And it was a young lady traveling home from college, and was desperately looking for a place to stay, and thought she had found here, but missed the driveway, ended up in kind of the ditch, So we dug her out and invited her to come in. While we were doing that, we got another phone call from a wife, and she was frantic. She's like, my husband and my daughter, they just can't drive any farther. They're desperate for a place to stay. Is there any chance you could take them in? And I said, absolutely. You have to, you come on in, get off the road, get dry. So we invited them to come in, and a third gentleman, same thing. He said, I just can't drive any further. He was a young man heading up to Vermont. Mm-hmm. And he said, please, I'll take a couch, anything. So he got the third room. We went from being completely closed to we were full, and
just a few hours time.
Yeah.
What's been the best part of making this decision?
The people. The people that you meet and the stories that you hear and the lives that you become entangled with are just amazing. There is a family that's coming in this weekend. They've been coming the last few years with their mom, who has developed dementia. Mm-hmm. But they're a great family. They rearranged their schedules. They did everything to keep her from going into a nursing home. And they were exhausted. This is their mom, and they're going to take care of her. And she would come here, and she would sit and play the piano, because I have a keyboard. So she would sit and play the keyboard, and she just recently passed away. And so we're going to go to the service, because they're just our family now. We're just part of them. There's a woman staying here now. She's come every year since we've been open, twice a year, to visit her family. And we have spent hours talking about, some of the tragedies in life and all the good things that have happened in life. Mm-hmm. And her husband is a photographer, has some wonderful photographs, and I've put them up here in the B&B. I want this place to be about the guests, not just us. Mm-hmm. It's for them. But now it's to the point where I'm like, I can never close. There's no way I could close this business. There's too many people that have family here that come and stay, that I couldn't close this on them and not have this here for them. So I don't know what I'm going to do. I can't ever die. I was like, I will eternally be here to run this bed and breakfast.
Well, Dawn, the community's lucky to have you. And thank you so much for welcoming us into your home today for just a little bit of time.
It's a pleasure having you here.
Next up, we meet a mother-daughter team who specialize in producing award-winning chocolate wine right after this snapshot of Silver Creek history.
Along the southern shore of Lake Erie sits Silver Creek, New York, a village rooted in something fruitful, Concord grapes. Silver Creek lies in the heart of one of the largest and oldest grape-growing regions in the world, the Lake Erie Concord Grape Belt. Thanks to rich glacial soil and a lake-tempered climate, it's perfect for growing Concords, bold, dark, and distinctly aromatic. Here, grape growing is a family tradition. Generations have walked these rows, tended vines, harvesting by hand, and building a legacy of cultivation and care. Many are members of the National Grape Cooperative, which supplies every grape used by Welch's. So when you pour a glass of Welch's juice or spread grape jelly on toast, you're really enjoying a taste of Silver Creek. And each September, the community comes together for the Festival of Grapes, a beloved tradition since 1968. A joyful weekend of parades, grape stomping, music, and hometown pride. Here in Silver Creek, grapes are more than a crop. They're tradition, a way of life, and a reason to celebrate.
Welcome back to Tapestry. In Silver Creek, it's not just the grapevines that have deep roots, it's the people too. Meet Carol Ann and Jessica Metzger, the mother-daughter duo behind Willow Creek Winery. With over 20 varieties, including chocolate wines for that sweet tooth, these two are proving that when it comes to winemaking, the ladies are in charge. Let's pour a glass and hear their story. Well, we are in the middle of what I'll call grape country.
Concord Grape Belt.
Concord Grape Belt. And so a lot of the vineyards that you see all around this area are supplying companies with grape juice, grape jelly.
Yes, a lot of it actually still goes to Welch's. Welch's owned 128 miles of grapes from Buffalo to Northeast Pennsylvania.
Wow.
So they had sold them off to private people. Like the house next door, those grapes, those are theirs. They sell them back to Welch's. Welch's used to have a full facility in Westfield.
But you guys aren't doing grape jelly or grape juice.
No, I don't bake.
Doing good wine.
You're doing good wine instead.
Very, very good wine.
So talk about that decision, because some would say it's easier to just grow the grapes and sell them to Welch's. You've decided to really perfect wines.
Yeah.
But what made you decide to even go on this ride in the first place?
Well, brother-in-law Doug Metzger, that owned it before,
Okay.
was ready to retire. He wanted to go on to different things. And my husband, David Metzger, decided, I'm going to get this for my daughter and my wife to run.
Oh, Carol Ann.
So,
What an amazing gift.
yeah. Yes. And we love it here anyways. We love the people that come here.
Right.
It's exciting.
What is it like in this particular climate for you? When does the season start? When do you harvest?
We harvest typically between the end of September to, if you want a little bit more sunlight or need a little bit more sunlight on a rainier year, the first 2 weeks of October. But you want them off no later than the second week of October.
You have 20 different kinds of wine. Talk to me a little bit about your varieties.
So we have dry whites, reds, we have semi-sweets, there's the sweets, and then what we call specialties, which some people would call dessert wines.
Are those different types of grapes then that you're growing?
Some are. At the moment, we actually only grow one grape, but we get the rest from very local.
Oh, from folks who are nearby.
Yes.
Okay.
Anything within New York State.
All right. And for those who aren't big wine drinkers, the difference between dry and sweet.
Sugar. All wines have added sugar. When you're finished making the wine is what we call residual sugar. So like the driest wine will have a 0% residual sugar. The sweetest wine will be anything higher than a 5 or 6% residual sugar.
I have heard that you guys are known for your chocolate
Yeah,
wines.
and that's not just for, it's a sipping wine, but you can also use it for cooking. Like there's a chocolate frosting recipe that you can do.
The winery itself, the chocolate predates us.
Oh, it does?
It does.
Okay.
So my uncle started it. They played around, and from what I'm told, there was like over 50 different variations of wine and chocolate before they perfected it.
And You can ask anybody. No one can top that. There's no aftertaste.
Can you share how you do it? Does Willy Wonka come and stomp on your grapes?
We definitely have a Willy Wonka.
Absolutely.
It's a special recipe.
It is a very special recipe, yeah.
And I guess you're not going to give it up.
No, ma'am.
Okay, well, that's okay. I had to try and ask. But it will be interesting to try it because I'd love to get a sense of what a chocolate wine and especially a peppermint patty
Yes, yeah.
kind of wine
And there's certain
tastes
ways
like.
that you got to taste it to bring all the flavors out.
Yeah. So this is the drier version. Dry start,
version. Okay.
chocolate finish,
Okay.
tastes like a cherry cordial. Tinier sips. Don't just throw it back.
Okay.
That way you can taste it properly.
All right.
And you'll notice this one's actually going to be a little bit darker in color because it has less sugar.
So the first step is to smell it, right?
Your nose starts your palate. And you'll get that beautiful dark chocolate fragrance. The chocolate will be at the end.
Ooh, there it is. Oh my goodness. Wow. I guess for some reason I was expecting a heavier chocolate. It's not. It's just a delicate bit of chocolate. Well, that was delicious. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
It dawned on me that women are significantly underrepresented as independent winery owners.
Yes.
So only 5% in California and Oregon, 3% in Washington State, according to the American Association of Wine Economists. So while the number's growing slowly, you're in a really small group.
Yeah.
What does that mean for you?
All you can do is try. If you fail, at least you know you tried your hardest. If you succeed, fantastic. Yeah. Just try.
But in an industry that has more men in it, how do you guys handle that?
With grace.
Yeah.
With grace?
We try and do a grace, yeah.
All right.
It's a dying thing, but I feel I was raised with it, and I think anything done with grace is done right.
But I mean, you're raising a daughter, right?
I am, yeah. And I want her to see that things can be done in a proper way.
Well, she's got to be proud of both her mom and her grandmother for what you guys are bringing to your family and to our entire community. So thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
There's more Tapestry coming up. If you've ever been to Silver Creek, chances are you've heard of Aunt Millie's, famous for its comforting home-style cooking and delicious homemade desserts. And behind every great meal is a great story. We'll be right back with Aunt Millie's granddaughter, Emily Cornwall, right after this.
Explore the Underground Railroad's final stop. Learn about how the Latine workforce organized to overcome discrimination and follow the timeline of immigration in Western New York.
So remember, history surrounds you and includes you.
Watch Compact History on the Buffalo Toronto Public Media YouTube channel.
From your morning commute to quiet evenings at home, Buffalo Toronto Public Media is always there with trusted news, inspiring stories, and timeless music. It's your connection to a world of wonder. This is Public Media.
Welcome back to Tapestry. I'm your host, Lynn Bader. We wrap up today's episode at Aunt Millie's Restaurant and Bakery. It's more than just a place to eat. It's a cherished part of the community's fabric, known for generous portions, towering desserts, and recipes passed down through generations. It all began with one woman's love for feeding family and friends. I sat down with Emily Cornwall, Aunt Millie's granddaughter, to hear about the woman behind the name and how her spirit continues to shape this family-run favorite. So tell me about your grandma.
So she was one of 9.
9 children?
Yes.
Wow.
But she was one of the youngest.
Okay.
So her 2 older sisters were married. So she had brothers all at home. Her mom passed away when she was young. So her dad actually made her quit school, like about 8th grade.
Oh, wow.
And take care of all the brothers, cook, clean, that whole thing. And it's funny because she always said, she's like, I was so upset because I wanted to take home ec. And she's laughing. She looked back on it. She's like, well, I guess I was just doing home ec.
You were doing home ec. You got an A in home ec, girl. You don't need to worry about home ec.
So basically, she came up with all these recipes herself. They're Italian immigrants. Her father came over from Italy.
Okay.
And she would cook all the time. But then once her brother started marrying off,
yes,
they kept coming back to the house. And then as they came back to the house to eat, then the nieces and nephews start coming back to the house. It would always be like, you're hungry, where do you want to go? Let's go to Aunt Millie's. And literally, I remember being young, and my grandma constantly opening the fridge, and we're like, is it never ending in this fridge? She literally just put on a spread of food, and I was like, where are you getting all this food? She's like, I just had it in the fridge.
I just have it in the fridge.
I just have it in the fridge. She said she always knew she'd be cooking all the time.
Yeah.
So I grew up with that. My dad grew up with that.
Yes.
And so when he worked in the steel plant,
okay,
and he decided, he's like, these people are getting laid off. This isn't really viable right now. So he's like, I really want to open a restaurant.
Is this before you're born?
Actually, I was about 7. He had a friend that owned this building.
Okay.
And it was a donut pizza shop, but their family wanted to get out of it. And so he saw the opportunity. He bought it. And he helped him kind of finagle it. But my dad's like, what should we call it? What should we call it? Well, he just knew right away. He's like, I'm going to call it Aunt Millie's because everyone's always going to Aunt Millie's to eat.
Everybody's going to Aunt Millie's to eat.
Yeah. She would make bread. We didn't even have a mixer, so she had to knead the bread in a big bowl by herself. She had a stool to get up. She couldn't reach the table.
Oh my goodness.
Her pies, recipes, she was we just literally used all her recipes. And she worked here for about 10 years.
What is the favorite recipe that your grandmother made that you still love and remember today?
Oh my gosh, it's the spaghetti sauce. Our sauce.
Why?
And it's so funny. We'd always have the Sunday dinner, and she always had the sauce. We make it still. It's the exact same way. It still tastes the same. Every time I taste it, I feel like I'm at Sunday at Grandma's.
Oh.
It takes about 8 hours on the stove, slow cooked. So, it's just that old Italian recipe. I don't even make my own sauce now. I just get it from here. Because I can't get it to taste like hers.
Well, you do know how to make your own sauce. Your sauce is her sauce.
Yeah, exactly.
Right?
Yeah.
And I think that's the thing about family. And when you have those recipes that you hand down generation after generation, you're bringing a little bit of that to all of the people here in Silver Creek, right?
Yeah, that's what we like to do. And it's fun to hear people say, I used to go over there when I was younger. My parents brought me, and then they come back. It's fun.
So taking on a family business is really a pretty large responsibility.
Yeah.
And you kind of have a legacy that you're continuing on. What motivates you every day to do that?
That's a good question. She took such pride in her food and just how everybody loved eating it, and it made people happy. It just makes you happy to see people they're so excited to see the desserts. It's just hilarious to watch people just go, oh my gosh, look at that, look at that, look at that. And
so this is a radio program, so I'm going to need you now to describe a little bit some of these desserts that, yes, we've heard about as well.
We do anything from cinnamon rolls, which is one of the governor's favorite when she comes in. Yeah. So we do, and it's from scratch. We have elephant ears or pastry hearts, which is like a puff pastry with a frosting. We do a ton of different kind of danishes, which are kind of hard to find in the area nowadays sometimes. We do pies. A famous thing too, we do brownie towers, which are
what?
They're called brownie towers.
Brownie towers.
Yeah, so they're 3 brownies, and then in between the layers is either chocolate or peanut butter cream, and then there's chocolate ganache on the top. Oh. It's a good one. Well, yeah, it takes 4 people to eat, I swear.
So do you find yourself wanting to add to the menu or take away from the menu?
That's a constant conversation that we're always having here. The underlying things we kind of want just home style food, stuff that you go home, your mom makes, your grandma makes. We still try to do a little bit of everything for everyone, pasta to burgers to chicken fingers, to chicken finger melt, which we're really known for too, which that was my dad's doing.
Oh, tell me about the chicken finger melt.
So it's grilled sourdough bread. Then you have chicken fingers in medium sauce, buffalo sauce, of course. Then you have blue cheese, mozzarella, and it's all grilled. And that's actually one of our biggest sellers, which is so fun. You know, and my dad's always been such an innovator, and he's always like, okay, what can we do better? What can we do better? What do we got to change? We need a different look. And I think him and I just constantly are changing and trying to evolve. But we try to still stay like homey too. So it's a nice little balance.
So each generation is kind of given their own
little
little
spin,
nod or
yeah.
their own little contribution.
Oh yeah. A lot of times we feature them for specials. Like we'll have like a stuffed brajol. Or a lot of her pies, the cream pies, the chocolate peanut butter cream pie, that was kind of one of her things, her apple pie. So yeah, and you know, it's kind of funny because we try to bring stuff in and out with our daily specials, so it's not just on the menu all the time.
What has it been like to watch the community give back to you?
Well, you know, we get our regulars. I mean, they come in here for hours. They sit, we talk. They love our staff. They love our servers. We've got people who've worked here for 30 years. Yeah.
That's pretty rare.
It is. It is really rare. That's one nice thing is we've kept like a good core. And I think people in the community appreciate that. And, you know, they like, who doesn't want to see a familiar face when they walk in a restaurant and be recognized? I would bake once in a while and come in at 5 in the morning. And then you don't realize who comes in so early. And we'll have customers, and our servers will open the door at 6:45, even though we don't open till 7. And then we've had customers come in, they sit, and they chat, like, oh, what are you doing today? You know, what's going on? And the servers all know them by name.
Did you see this for yourself as your future?
You know, when they bought the restaurant, my whole family was working here. I'm like, oh, I can't wait to be a waitress, or I can't wait to work there. I just want to work there. And then I'm like, as I go into high school, I'm like, I'm going to go do my own thing. And then I kind of circled back, and I was like, you know, working in an office, it just wasn't really for me. And my dad needed help, so I was just like, I kind of came back, and but I love it. Now I just can't see myself doing anything else. I see us being here for the long haul.
Well, I want to thank you for, again, letting us come on in and hang out. I might stay for a cup of coffee and a slice of pie, and hopefully you'll have us back.
Yeah, thank you very much for coming in. I really appreciate it.
Our entire crew left with some of Aunt Millie's famous desserts, and I can promise you we will be back. That wraps up this episode of Tapestry. Next week, we head north to Lockport in Niagara County to visit the historic Locks, a local reenactor, and the beautifully restored Palace Theater. What's happening in your town? Let us know by emailing tapestry@btpm.org. Tapestry is a production of Buffalo Toronto Public Media. You can listen to all our episodes at btpm.org or wherever you get your podcasts. I'm your host, Lynn Bader. Thanks for listening.